Maya and John had been inseparable since the day they met in kindergarten. Growing up in a quiet suburb of California, they spent their childhood climbing trees, building forts, and dreaming about the future. Now, as they entered their sophomore year of high school, life was becoming more complicated. The carefree days of their youth were fading, replaced by the pressures of adolescence, shifting friendships and family struggles. But through it all, they would learn that their bond was unshakable. The school year started with a bang. Maya, a natural artist with a passion for painting, had been accepted into the advanced art class. John, a star athlete with a love for basketball, was determined to make the varsity team. They were both excited but nervous, knowing that high school was a time of change. What they didn't realize was just how much their lives would be tested. Maya's home life had always been a little rocky. Her parents worked long hours, leaving her to care for her younger brother, Max. This year, though, things got worse. Her parents' arguments became more frequent, and the tension at home was palpable. Maya found solace in her art, pouring her emotions onto the canvas. But as the weeks went by, she began to withdraw from her friends, including John. John noticed the change in Maya. She wasn't her usual bubbly self, and she often dodged his questions about how she was doing. He tried to give her space, but he couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. Meanwhile, John was dealing with his own challenges. His basketball coach was pushing him harder than ever, and his grades were slipping. To make matters worse, his best friend on the team, Ryan, started hanging out with a new group of kids who seemed to care more about partying than playing sports. One Friday afternoon, John decided to confront Maya. He found her in the art room, working on a painting that was darker and more chaotic than her usual work. "Maya, what's going on?" he asked, his voice filled with concern. "You've been avoiding me for weeks." Maya hesitated, her brush hovering over the canvas. "I'm fine, John. Just busy with school and stuff." "You're not fine," John insisted. "I know you better than anyone. Talk to me." Tears welled up in Maya's eyes as she finally opened up about her parents' fights and the pressure she felt at home. John listened quietly, his heart breaking for his friend. When she finished, he gave her a hug and said, "You're not alone, Maya. I'm here for you no matter what." As the weeks turned into months, Maya and John leaned on each other more than ever. John helped Maya with Max when her parents were fighting, and Maya encouraged John to focus on his studies and stay true to himself, even when Ryan and the others pressured him to skip practice and go to parties. One night, after a particularly bad argument at home, Maya showed up at John's house in tears. "I can't do this anymore," she sobbed. John's parents welcomed her in, offering her a place to stay for the night. The next day, John convinced Maya to talk to the school counselor, who helped her find resources to cope with her family situation. Meanwhile, John faced a tough decision. His coach had warned him that if he didn't improve his grades, he'd be benched for the rest of the season. With Maya's support, he buckled down and started studying harder. He even turned down an invitation to a party, choosing instead to spend the night tutoring with Maya. The turning point came during the championship basketball game. John had worked tirelessly to improve his grades and his game, and he was determined to lead his team to victory. Maya was in the stands, cheering him on. But just before halftime, John noticed Ryan and his new friends sneaking out of the gym. They were planning to ditch the game and go to a party. John felt torn. He wanted to fit in with his teammates, but he knew he couldn't let his team down. In the end, John stayed and played his heart out. His team won the game, and John was named MVP. Afterward, he found Maya waiting for him outside the locker room. "I'm proud of you," she said, smiling. "You stayed true to yourself." John grinned. "I couldn't have done it without you." By the end of the year, Maya and John had both grown in ways they never expected. Maya's parents had started counseling, and the atmosphere at home was slowly improving. John had not only made varsity, but had also earned a scholarship for his academics. Most importantly, they had learned the true meaning of loyalty and support. Through the ups and downs, they had always been there for each other, proving that their friendship could withstand anything. As they stood on the beach one summer evening, watching the sun set over the Pacific, Maya turned to John and said, "No matter what happens, we'll always have each other, right?" John nodded. "Always."